2 years. It's been 2 whole years since I snapped my boots into a pair of these long, skinny skis. I used to love this, the feeling of gliding through a silent white world. But life happens. It gets busy, priorities change, and suddenly you realize 730 days have passed since you've done something that once brought you so much peace. Today that changes. I'm here at the stunning 6-kilometer track at Vaksvika, a short drive from Ålesund, Norway. The plan is simple. See if I still have it. See if the muscle memory is buried in there somewhere. This is my journey back to the snow, and it's for anyone who has ever wanted to get back to something they love, but wasn't sure where to begin. There's a special kind of awkwardness when you return to an activity after a long break. It's like having a conversation with your past self, and right now, my past self is definitely laughing at me. Just holding these skis feels weird. They seem longer and skinnier than I remember. These are wax-free fish scale skis, which are perfect for a beginner, or in my case, a re-beginner. They have a built-in grip pattern underneath that saves you from the complicated art of waxing, which is a huge relief, one less thing to worry about. Clipping in is the first real test. It takes a level of balance I'm not sure I have right now. There's a click, that satisfying sound that locks my boot in, and suddenly I'm committed. I push myself up with my pose, which feels like clumsy extension of my already clumsy arms. My first few moments aren't skiing. They're just a desperate attempt to stay upright. Every journey has a challenge, and the Vaksvika trail presents one right from the start. A gentle climb for the first kilometer up to Sollisætra. As the track gets steeper, the classic stride isn't enough. My skis start slipping backwards with every push. Time to break out the herringbone. I step out of the tracks and point my skis outwards in a V shape like a duck. Using my poles behind me for balance, I start the awkward march upwards. It isn't pretty and my legs are burning, but it works. I'm moving uphill. Reaching the top of the first climb feels like a major victory. That first hill was a test, but I passed it, and the doubt is being replaced by quiet confidence. I can do this. I am doing this. After conquering the initial climb, the trail flattens out towards the trip's goal, the Gapahuken at Vaksvika. This is the perfect practice ground. Someone once called cross-country skiing the language of winter exploration, and right now I feel I'm trying to remember a language I used to be fluent in. I know the basic words, but the grammar, the flow, that's all gone. I decided to try some advice I received from a friend learning to ski. The goal is to find that kick and glide, the move that turns shuffling into actual skiing. I start with the shuffle, then try to push off with one foot and pull all my weight on the other, letting it glide for just a second. Time to bring the poles back in. The motion is supposed to be a diagonal, opposite arm, opposite leg. As my left ski glides, my right pole should be pushing. It feels like trying to pat your head and rub your stomach at the same time. My brain gets it, but my limbs are in a heated argument. The trail levels out and I glide towards the Gapahuken at Vaksvika. In Norway, many ski trails have a Gapahuk, or a simple lean-to shelter that acts as a natural rest stop. The steam rising from my thermos of hot chocolate is one of the most beautiful sights in the world. My legs are tired, but it's a good kind of tired, an earned tired. From here, the turnaround point, it's a steady slope back down to the parking lot. Pushing off after the break, my movements feel more confident and natural. The kick and glide comes easier, the poling feels stronger. From here on out, every glide is a glide home. The return journey is all about savoring the feeling of having reconquered a small part of myself. At the start of the day, the thought of going downhill on these skinny skis was terrifying. Now it's an invitation to be cautious and controlled. I remember the technique, the snowplow, or as some call it, the pizza slice. I point my ski tips together, putting pressure on the inside edges to control my speed. Knees bent, body low, hands forward. The first descent is slow and careful. I'm braking more than gliding, but it works. On the next hill I try a half wedge, keeping one ski in the track for stability while the other acts as a brake. It's a great feeling of control. With each slope, my confidence grows, trusting that I can slow down when I need to. I'm not trying to be fast, I'm focused on being steady and safe, and it pays off. There's no tumbles, no close calls, just smooth, controlled glides. By now, my body is on autopilot. The diagonal stride feels as natural as walking. I'm no longer thinking about every movement. My mind is free to just exist in this incredible winter landscape. The final kilometer feels both long and short. I'm tired, but part of me doesn't want it to end. Looking back at the 2 perfect lines stretching out behind me, I realized it was never about being perfect. It wasn't about being the fastest or most graceful skier on the trail. It was about showing up. It was about reconnecting with the snow, with nature, and with a part of myself I'd let go dormant. If you've been thinking about restarting your own journey, whether it's skiing, painting, or anything else that once brought you joy, I hope this inspires you to take that first awkward step. There's a saying, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Or in my case, just to be good enough to have an amazing time. Let me know in the comments what activity you'd love to get back to. I'd genuinely love to hear about it.